today we just had the showcase for Xbox, and in this video I'm gonna be talking about one of the main announcements in my opinion, which is a handheld branded by Xbox. So there's a little trailer here we're gonna be watching. Okay, let's see. So it's an Xbox. Let me put this in 1080p. Let's see. It shows a box empty. Okay, it's interesting, right? This was rumored for quite some time, and yeah, this form factor, which is close to the Steam Deck, ROG Ally. There's the Xbox button, and yeah, that's pretty cool, right? An Xbox handheld. Republic of Gamers. Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's the 6 song there. Download natively. And also can stream from the cloud. This one's I think is pretty lit, right? As that you can open games by using the Windows bar, the Windows game bar, which I think is a nice addition to this. It seems to be pretty cool. It's bet on that as well. Okay, they say here freedom of Windows and power of Xbox. Yeah, freedom of Windows and power of Xbox. This looks neat. Yeah, definitely the greatest surprise. So here's the APU, which is a Z2 Extreme. Okay, here they do the thing, right? This is an Xbox, which is the new branding for Xbox. And it's very interesting because all of the major announcements shows Xbox PC, which seems to be the main branding for Xbox. And the other thing that they showed a lot is Xbox Play Anywhere, in which you can buy a game, let's say on the Xbox store on PC, and you can also play that game on console. So Xbox Play Anywhere, it's a very consumer-friendly approach buying games because you're not stuck in a single device, which I think will drive sales for some games, right? Because if you have an Xbox and a PC, you buy on either store and you can play on either device, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, so there's the video. It's pretty much the video. Here's the specs. So there's going to be 2 versions. There's the ROG Xbox Ally with 16 gigabytes and 512 gigabytes of storage, which is Z2A processor. And there's the ROG Xbox Ally X, which has the Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme, 24 gigabytes, 24, it's a lot of memory, and 1 terabyte storage. So this is going to be a device for enthusiasts, like 1 terabyte on a handheld, pretty cool. 24 gigabytes is more than the consoles. So the only thing that I think that is lacking here is RDNA 4. So these are RDNA 3. So here's the imaging high resolution for the device. It's pretty cool. Yeah, someone asked here about the price. Yeah, we don't have the price, but I would bet that the Z2 Extreme, this one here, would be 1,000. Okay, I don't think this is going to be less than $1,000, which again is a device for enthusiasts. Yeah, but we can actually see this handheld in action. So we're gonna be watching this video from Linus Tech Tips, which he shows. Let's just give it a watch and see some of the things about this device.
It's an Xbox. It's an ROG Ally. It's the Xbox ROG Ally X. And there's a lot to unpack here because this is loaded with things that I have never seen before. For starters, this is my very first hands-on with the AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme, a Zen 5.
Okay, so he's 16 CUs, right? Okay, it's pretty interesting. Pretty cool. Zen 5, right? Okay, I'm hoping if... No.
It's an Xbox. It's an ROG Ally. It's
Let's go back
is my
here.
very first hands-on with the AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme, a Zen 5 Xbox 16CU mobile gaming monster, if my first impressions are anything to go by. It's
Okay, I think this is going to be a very powerful device, but if you were RDNA 4, it could be another 50% for the same amount of CUs and power budget, which would be pretty powerful. But I think they're gonna release that probably when it's going to be definitely the Xbox handheld. This one is a ROG Ally with the Xbox branding, which I think it's Microsoft and Xbox getting things ready for their device because they're gonna have to do a lot of work in optimizing Windows for handhelds.
It's also the first time a third-party PC has ever borne the Xbox name. And even bigger, yes, and even those two other things, this is the first time that the Xbox team has been given the power to dive under the hood and fundamentally alter the gaming experience on Windows. I'm talking Xbox team code right into the Windows branch. Like your PC boots directly to an Xbox full screen UI.
Yeah, this is pretty nice, right? Yeah, they are definitely trying to get a console experience on PC. But does this mean that they're gonna left consoles altogether? This is something that I think could be the case in the near future. Probably we're gonna see another generation of consoles which are going to be closer to the PC experience, and later down the line it's likely that Xbox console is gonna disappear altogether. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a probability that's going to be the case.
UI that brings together all your favorite games across Game Pass, Windows, and yes, even leading third-party app stores. Not only that, but the Xbox team was given the power to trim the fat, so to speak, meaning that in the new gaming UI, non-essential processes, and even the Windows desktop are simply not loaded, which frees up substantial system resources. They're quoting 2 gigabytes of...
Okay, where there's this information coming from? On average, Windows uses about 4 gigabytes of RAM. However, okay.
RAM savings now, and have made it very clear that they're not done yet. It's cliche, folks, but Valve appears to have awakened the giant, and this thing could...
Yeah, that video from Dave2D, let me find here to show you guys, that show the Steam Deck on a device. Let me see. So this video right here, Windows was the problem all along, definitely shows that Windows is lacking a lot of optimization when it comes to gaming. Let me see some of the benchmarks here, guys. And you need to remember that, okay, so here's the numbers. So on the Legion Go S with SteamOS, Cyberpunk 59 FPS, and the same hardware, but on Windows 46, okay? So it's a pretty substantial difference. And you guys need to remember that SteamOS is not running native games, okay? It's emulating through the Proton translation layer, okay? So this is not even running native games, and is getting better performance than on Windows, which is pretty mind-blowing. And all of these games, for the exception of Spider-Man 2 right here, and it is a pretty close one as well. Legion Go S is winning against Windows, and it's cheaper. This version is cheaper than the Windows one because of the license. And I think that's one of the main reasons why Microsoft is looking into optimizing Windows for handhelds, because there is a lot of performance under the table. If they can get like those 30% in some cases of performance back, they can be a pretty viable platform for gaming on the go.
Be a game changer for handheld PC gaming. It's also cliche, but let's kick things off with the elephant in the room. The big, kind of funky looking elephant in the room.
Yeah,
this is
chunky.
not a slim, sleek console like the Nintendo Switch 2. But that decision was made for a number of very good reasons. See, the goal from the Xbox team was...
Yeah, I think the grip's better because it emulates like the design of a control.
...to take the Xbox controller experience and translate that to a handheld PC. That means large, contoured grips, full-sized analog sticks, a subtly angled screen to improve neck ergonomics, and, in the X version, impulse triggers like we first saw with the Xbox One. I assumed Microsoft wouldn't provide competing devices at this first look, so I brought a whole backpack of them.
Wow.
And the most
He bought all of those. There's a Steam Deck, a Switch. This one's a ROG Ally. Where's Legion go?
obvious one is, of course, the original Ally, and the interface is extremely similar, with only the rhombus-shaped Xbox button really being added by comparison. This is used to access the game bar overlay and armory crate, which raises an interesting question. What's the armory crate button here for then? I don't know. I've asked if maybe it could be a reconfigurable macro button going forward. I got a firm maybe on that. Realistically, a lot of things are still up in the air on this. The back is completely different and really shows how much ASUS, probably with some help from the Microsoft team, has learned about ergonomics over the last couple of years. Even though this is a heavy device.
So it's heavier than the older ROG Ally?
Very much like the Ally X, which at least managed to lose the squared off corners. It feels lighter. And I was really unsure about the angled screen. Honestly, I kind of thought I'd hate it, but I completely forgot about it when I was using it, and it just feels natural. Of course, ASUS isn't the only ones who makes handheld PCs, and some makers figured out that
Yeah, it's Steam, right?
ergonomics were important right from the get-go. So how's it compare to the Steam Deck? Obviously, the middle section is way thicker, and it's noticeably heavier. But from
Okay, oh, so there's the weights of of them. So the ROG Ally X is going to be 715 grams. Steam Deck OLED 640 grams. So it's pretty close. I don't think you can notice this difference. Yeah, I don't know if you can notice the difference. Like 100, like it's like 60 plus. So it's 75 gram. Can you even notice that?
a packability standpoint, it's actually less wide, and
But I do like the LED thing, the RGB thing on the joysticks. I think it is a nice addition on the ROG Ally because it's RGB it gives more FPS, right? You can get more FPS.
do get the benefit of larger face
It's
buttons.
pretty nice.
Though you lose the touchpads that many Steam Deck users really love. As for the Switch 2, I had intended to talk more about this comparison, but it's clear from looking at them that these are entirely different classes of device, and the customer for one is simply not going to be the customer for the other, I don't think. Bottom line, while the weight might be a turnoff for some,
Yeah, ROG Ally Access is definitely going to be a device which can play both indies and AAA games.
I think they nailed the ergonomics on this, though ironically, actually feels a little closer to the curves of the DualSense than it does to the Xbox controller.
Okay.
Not that I'm saying that's a bad thing. Now, I mentioned there are two versions of the Xbox Ally, and there are enough differences between them that you will not want to accidentally buy the wrong one. From the outside, the X version is black versus white, with impulse triggers and an upgraded Thunderbolt-compatible USB 4 port next to the
Oh, so the connections are different. Okay, so this one, okay. So this one has a USB 4 connection. Okay, so I think this is the main difference. It seems to be here.
the regular USB 3.2 Gen 2. This port allows the use of powerful external GPUs, but that's about it. Across both, we get the same I/O that will be familiar to owners of previous generation Allies, with a volume rocker, UHS-2 microSD card, 3.5mm combo jack. These are very, very different beasts. The Xbox Ally X features a cutting-edge AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme
Is Z2 Extreme. It's a very powerful CPU.
processor with 3 Zen 5 and 5 Zen 5C cores, 24 gigs of lightning fast, 8,000 megahertz.
So the memory bandwidth is the biggest limiter in this handhelds because of the APU. So because they are using low power DDR5X at 8,000 mega transfers per second, I think this should be good. But yeah, until we get DDR6, which should be double this is enough for this kind of device, especially for playing 1080p. But yeah, that is definitely something to look for. Mega transfers for RAM speeds.
Transfer per second LPDDR5X memory, a terabyte of storage, and a whopping 80 watt-hour battery. the Xbox Ally Non-X does not have.
Okay, so you guys can see that it changed quite a lot. The memory is lower and it's 16 instead of 24. Half the storage and the battery rate's 20 watts hours less.
All of those things. And while it is a
So
little
they are
lighter, at
different.
least, it's not even smaller. And particularly disappointing to me was the inclusion of an, albeit tuned version, of AMD's Ryzen Z2A processor, which from early leaks appears to be very similar to the Zen 2-based Aerith processor from the original Steam Deck, which was announced
Okay, that's not good.
4 years ago. Now to be clear,
Yeah, that's not
these are
good.
both current gen machines in other ways. They both use 80mm M.2 SSDs for easier upgrades. They both got Wi-Fi 6E, and they both come with a reasonably speedy 65-watt charger, but the Non-X is weaker by enough that Microsoft explicitly positions it as a 720p gaming console, which makes one of the other similarities between the two devices kind of unexpected. See, the screen is the same between both models, and actually, for that matter, the same as previous versions of the Ally. 1080p, 120 hertz with
Okay, so 1080p, 120 hertz. Yeah, it's not bad for a handheld. For a handheld, it's not bad.
FreeSync premium variable refresh rate and 500 nits peak brightness. So I guess on this one, you're either gonna render out a lower resolution or rely on AMD's FSR upscaling in order to reach native. In either case, it's an okay display. It's good enough that I still dig.
Okay, so that's pretty much, guys. I'm gonna link the video if you guys want to watch the video entirely. Okay, but that's pretty much it. So this is definitely one of the biggest surprises for me from the Xbox event, the announcement of this handheld, which was rumored for quite a while. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think about this device. Will you guys be buying this holiday this year? I think the 24 versions definitely, right? 24 gigs is enough, but it's definitely gonna be very, very expensive, as I think you're gonna be upwards 1,000 at least. But that's pretty much the video, guys. Let me know what you guys think down below, and see you guys in the next video. Peace out.